Diana Frances Spencer was born in Norfolk, England on July 1, 1961. Although she was a member of the British aristocracy, she was technically a commoner, not a royal. Diana's father was John Spencer, Viscount Althorp, a personal aide to King George VI and to Queen Elizabeth II. Her mother was the Honourable Frances Shan Kidd. Diana's parents divorced in 1969. Her mother ran away with a wealthy heir, and her father gained custody of the children. He later married Rain Legge, whose mother was Barbara Cartland, a romance novelist. Diana was educated at Riddlesworth Hall in Norfolk and at Westheath School in Kent, where she was regarded as an academically below-average student, having failed all of her O-level examinations. At age 16 she briefly attended Institut Alpen-Wiedemannet, a finishing school in Rougemont, Switzerland. Diana was a talented amateur pianist, excelled in sports and reportedly longed to be a ballerina. Diana's family, the Spencers, had been close to the British royal family for decades. Her maternal grandmother, the Dowager Lady Fermoy, was a longtime friend of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The Prince of Wales briefly dated Lady Sarah Spencer, Diana's older sister, in the 1970s. On 24 February 1981 it was officially announced that Lady Diana was to marry the Prince of Wales. As neighbours at Sandringham until 1975, their families had known each other for many years, and Lady Diana and the Prince had met again when he was invited to a weekend at Althorp in November 1977. They were married at St Paul's Cathedral in London on 29 July 1981, in a ceremony which drew a global television and radio audience estimated at around 1,000 million people, and hundreds of thousands of people lining the route from Buckingham Palace to the cathedral. The wedding reception was at Buckingham Palace. The princess was the first Englishwoman to marry an heir to the throne for 300 years, when Anne Hyde married the future James II from whom the princess was descended. The bride wore a silk taffeta dress with a 25-foot train designed by the Emanuels, her veil was held in place by the Spencer family diamond tiara, and she carried a bouquet of gardenias, lilies of the valley, white freesia, golden roses, white orchids and stephanotis. She was attended by 5 bridesmaids, including Princess Margaret's daughter Lady Sarah Armstrong-Jones. Prince Andrew and Prince Edward were the Prince of Wales's supporters. After her marriage, the Princess of Wales quickly became involved in the official duties of the royal family. Her first tour with the Prince of Wales was a 3-day visit to Wales in October 1981. In 1983 she accompanied the Prince on a tour of Australia and New Zealand, and they took the infant Prince William with them. Prince William, with Prince Harry, again joined the Prince and Princess of Wales at the end of their tour to Italy in 1985. Other official overseas visits undertaken with the Prince included Australia, Brazil, India, Canada, Nigeria, Cameroon, Indonesia, Spain, Italy, France, Portugal and Japan. Their last joint overseas visit was to South Korea in 1992. The princess's first official visit overseas on her own was in September 1982, when she represented the Queen at the state funeral of Princess Grace of Monaco. The princess's first solo overseas tour was in February 1984, when she travelled to Norway to attend a performance of Carmen by the London City Ballet, of which she was patron. The princess subsequently visited many countries including Germany, the United States, Pakistan, Switzerland, Hungary, Egypt, Belgium, France, South Africa, Zimbabwe and Nepal. The Prince and Princess made their principal home at Highgrove House near Tetbury, Gloucestershire, with an apartment in Kensington Palace as their London home. They had 2 sons. Prince William Arthur Philip Louis was born on 21 June 1982 and Prince Henry Charles Albert David on 15 September 1984, both at St Mary's Hospital, Paddington, in London. The princess had 17 godchildren. In December 1992 it was announced that the Prince and Princess of Wales had agreed to separate. The princess based her household and her office at Kensington Palace, while the prince was based at St James's Palace and continued to live at Highgrove. In November 1995 the princess gave a television interview during which she spoke of her unhappiness in her personal life and the pressures of her public role. The prince and princess were divorced on 28 August 1996. The prince and princess continued to share equal responsibility for the upbringing of their children. The princess continued to be regarded as a member of the royal family. In early 1997, Diana was linked romantically with the 42-year-old Ahmad Mohammed Al Fayed. His father, Mohammed Al Fayed, owned Harrods department store and the Ritz Hotel in Paris, among other properties. On August 30, 1997, Diana and Fayed left the Ritz Hotel in Paris, accompanied in a car by a driver and Dodi's bodyguard. They were pursued by paparazzi. Just after midnight the car spun out of control in a Paris tunnel and crashed. Fayed and the driver were killed instantly. Diana died later in a hospital despite efforts to save her. The bodyguard survived despite critical injuries. The world quickly reacted. First came horror and shock. Then blame, much of which was directed at the paparazzi who were following the princess's car, and from whom the driver was apparently trying to escape. Later tests showed the driver had been well over the legal alcohol limit, but immediate blame was placed on the photographers and their seemingly incessant quest to capture images of Diana that could be sold to the press. Then came an outpouring of sorrow and grief. The Spencers, Diana's family, established a charitable fund in her name, and within a week $150 million in donations had been raised. Princess Diana's funeral, on September 6, drew worldwide attention. Millions turned out to line the path of the funeral procession. The princess was buried in sanctified ground on an island in the center of an ornamental lake. On the first anniversary of Diana's death, people left flowers and bouquets outside the gates of Kensington Palace and a memorial service was held at Westminster Abbey. The royal family and the Prime Minister and his family went to Crathy Kirk for private prayers, while Diana's family held a private memorial service at Althorpe. All flags at Buckingham Palace and other royal residences were flown at half-mast on the Queen's orders. The Union Jack was first lowered to half-mast on the day of Diana's funeral and has set a precedent, as based on the previous protocol no flag could ever fly at half-mast over the palace, even on the death of a monarch. Since 1997, however, the Union flag has flown at half-mast upon the deaths of members of the royal family, and other times of national mourning. The concert for Diana at Wembley Stadium was held on 1 July 2007. The event, organized by the Princes William and Harry, celebrated the 46th anniversary of their mother's birth and occurred a few weeks before the 10th anniversary of her death on 31 August. The proceeds from this event were donated to Diana's charities. On 31 August 2007, a memorial service for Diana took place in the Guards Chapel. Guests included members of the royal family and their relatives, members of the Spencer family, members of Diana's wedding party, Diana's close friends and aides, representatives from many of her charities, British politicians Gordon Brown, Tony Blair, and John Major, and friends from the entertainment world such as David Frost, Elton John, and Cliff Richard. In January 2013, a previously unseen photograph of Diana taken during her engagement to Charles was put up for auction. The picture belonged to the Daily Mirror newspaper and has, not to be published, written on it. In it, a young Diana lies across the lap of an unidentified man. John Travolta and Diana dancing at the White House, November 1985. On 19 March 2013, 10 of Diana's dresses, including a midnight blue velvet gown she wore to a 1985 state dinner at the White House when she danced with John Travolta, raised over £800,000 at auction in London. In January 2017, a series of letters that Diana and other members of the royal family had written to a Buckingham Palace steward were sold as a part of a collection titled The Private Letters Between a Trusted Butler and the Royal Family. The 6 letters that were written by Diana included information about her young son's daily life and raised £15,100. Diana, Her Fashion Story, an exhibition of gowns and suits worn by Diana, was announced to be opened at Kensington Palace in February 2017 as a tribute to mark her 20th death anniversary, with her favorite dresses created by numerous fashion designers, including Catherine Walker and Victor Edelstein, being displayed. The exhibition opened on 24 February displaying a collection of 25 dresses, and was set to remain open until 2018. Other tributes planned for the anniversary included exhibitions at Althorpe hosted by Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, a series of commemorating events organized by the Diana Award 305, as well as restyling Kensington Gardens and creating a new section called the White Garden, in order to symbolize Diana's life and style. On the 31st of August 2019, the Princess Diana 3D Virtual Museum was launched to mark the 22nd anniversary of Diana's death. Operated by the Princess and the Platypus Foundation, the online museum consists of over 1,000 of Diana's items which were photographed using the techniques of virtual reality. Today, Diana is still remembered as the people's princess, a woman of contradictions who was born into wealth yet seemed to have a common touch, a woman who struggled with her self-image yet was a fashion icon, a woman who sought attention but often stayed at hospitals and other charity sites long after the press had left. Her life has been the subject of numerous books and films, including Diana, Her True Story, Diana, Last Days of a Princess, and Diana, 7 Days. We hope you have enjoyed reading Princess Diana Biography, and we hope it's inspired you to new discoveries. If you liked our video, please like and leave a comment. Also, please subscribe to our channel to always be the first to know about new videos.